What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm joined by Tyler. We're here kind of for a special video. We're going to be talking about the Uncharted live-action movie, this short film with Nathan Fillion. We kind of want to talk specifically if it was test footage in some way. We're going to kind of limit the discussion a little bit because we're going to make future videos talking about maybe what we would change or what could happen in the future. But obviously, so this came out when we're recording this, and we're going to just put this up slightly a day after. Yeah. We watched this right after it came out. People really love this. A lot of people. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Nathan Fillion teased this last Friday, and it just came out. And so you were saying the first thing you thought of was this is all a test.
I said this is test footage. Same as how for Fox, I can't remember something Miller was the director for Deadpool. I can't remember. But when they were presenting it to 21st Century Fox, they came up with test footage. It was all CG, but then they purposely, they're saying it leaked, but they purposely leaked it to get a big fan reaction. And then once 21st Century Fox saw that, then they said, okay, then they greenlit it. Yeah. And it literally came out within a year and a few months after that. Because people loved it so much, which is why it had such a low budget, because it was so holy crap, we need to make this. Yeah. So when I saw this with Nathan Fillion, which last year I think it was, maybe I thought it was last year, we had a video saying here's who we would cast for the Uncharted movie, and who did you want for Nathan Drake?
It was either Nathan Fillion or Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that's right. I said Chris Pratt. Yep. But I remember in the video, we both, because those are big names, but in the video we both said we would actually want Nathan Fillion. Yeah. But what we were worried about was he might be a little bit too old and he might be a little bit out of shape. Yeah. But then when we saw this, looks like Drake, sounds like Drake, acts like Drake, and he was literally perfect. He was Nathan Drake. So the funny thing about that though, was that, so then we looked into the producer. When you look up Alan Ungar, he's only made 3, he's like an indie director. And so he made a few movies in the past. One of those movies was called Gridlocked. That came out, that came out a couple years ago. So then when we look at the cast, because we were putting this together, then this sets up why I believe this is test footage. So Nathan Fillion is Canadian. Alan Ungar is Canadian. Now, the guy who played Sully, you might have remembered him from Avatar, the blue aliens, James Cameron's Avatar. He's been in other stuff too, but that's Stephen Lang. Stephen Lang was Sully, and Stephen Lang was in the movie Gridlocked by Alan Ungar. Marissa Monroe in 2007. It was a TV show called Drive, and it was with Nathan Fillion. So that's interesting. So there's the connection between all those people. I didn't look up that LT ranking, I don't care. But then when we look at the director Alan Ungar and we look up his on his official YouTube, he doesn't even have 2,000 subscribers yet. Yeah, he will. Which will be. I'm curious to know what he had before the video.
Yeah. Oh, we can look.
Yeah. And then put that in the comments. So he has under 2,000 right now. It has 224,964 views so far.
Within a couple hours.
31,000. Yeah, I mean barely. It doesn't even say when it went up, but very short amount of time. So people are really loving it.
Yeah.
Only 158.
To dislike is massive.
On the official. I'm sure it's floating around elsewhere too. So he was the director, he was the writer, this is Alan Ungar. Producer was Alan Ungar, but the first name was Nathan Fillion. So Nathan Fillion was a producer, which that's actually, in my opinion, a pretty big deal. Because the thing is about these actors, not so much Marissa, and almost not so much the other guy, Stephen Lang, even though he isn't that Mortal Engines. He actually does do some bigger movies. I've never liked him because he's always a bad guy, so I just don't like him. But they're not that easy to get to. So the fact that this Alan can call him up and say, hey, and that guy usually is clean shaven or has a beard. He never has a mustache. So the fact that he can call and say, hey, do you want to do this? Literally, it'll be like 5 minutes of your time to come to wherever. I mean, that wasn't in Canada. It was filmed somewhere. I don't know if it was Mexico or where it was. But it's like, hey, fly down, either with your own, I don't know how they set it up, but fly down, we need you to have a mustache, just read a few lines. And he's like, yeah, okay. Alan Ungar must have a lot of pull for being almost a nobody. And then for him to get Nathan Fillion, and then Nathan Fillion's a producer, to have Nathan Fillion grow out his hair. This is why I believe it's test footage. To have Nathan Fillion, who usually has shorter hair, or like the comb over like in Castle, and then his new show, I forgot what it's called on ABC, where he's a cop with a gun. So it's like, oh my god, Castle with a gun. But he grew out his hair. It looks like Drake. Looks like he lost a little bit of weight, especially in his face. Changed his voice. Did especially he was like a voice actor, but acting. To do all that stuff. Again, like none of and the other girl. So then Nathan Fillion contacted the other girl. Was like, hey, do you want to do this part real fast with me?
Yes.
Let's fly down here and do this. To get all that, to rent out that home, to do the set, to get the cars, to get the other people that were involved. None of this is free. I mean, this probably cost like $1 million or so to edit, produce, make the music, all that. I mean, none of it wasn't. If you look, the camera work was good. If you look, music was by these two guys. It wasn't from Uncharted because they can't do that.
Right.
Editor, like all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of people. Stunt coordinator. They have all these things: color grading, colorist, post production, costume designer, cinematographer. It's like to have all these people to put out a 14-minute and 49-second fan film. I don't believe it. Yeah, just for no reason. Uncharted's done, and it's like, what? It's test footage. In my opinion, it's one of two things. It's test footage, 100%, which is why in the beginning it says it's like basically not test footage, which tells me that it actually is test footage.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're not associated with Sony, we're not associated with this, we're not associated with that. That's cool. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like if this Alan Ungar is friends with the guy who would be making the Uncharted movie, he's like, here, want to make a little bit of extra money and get more experience and credibility to be able to list it, and then make maybe bigger stuff in the future. The guy's young. He's like, I think it was 20. He's like 27. It could even be, who knows, a cousin or so. You never know. So but there's two options. In my opinion, it's either test footage or Sony contacted or whoever's making the Uncharted movie, not the Tom Holland one, which we'll discuss in a second. The actual Uncharted. It's all gonna be one big franchise. But I have a feeling Nathan Fillion was contacted and said, like, do you know? We want you to do something as Nathan Drake for Uncharted, just to be able to show the executives to see, like, if we should just do the Tom Holland origin Nathan Drake story and have him grow up and then give the adventures of Nathan Drake, or do something different where we do Tom Holland's Uncharted like in the past, and then we have the Uncharted, like the games, like Uncharted 1 and 2, 3 and 4, with somebody who's a little bit older. I almost think this is what happened, where it's like, okay, Nathan, do you know anybody, or we can set you up with somebody if you know anybody to work with. But set this up, whatever, and then send it over, or like have them put it out, or just get in contact with me, and have them put it out, and then we'll be able to gauge the fan reaction, whether or not this is what we should do or not. I have a feeling that's what happened, and Nathan Fillion being Canadian, Alan Ungar's Canadian, he probably knew him somehow.
Yeah.
Or maybe he knows what's his face, who played Sully, who worked with him in Gridlocked. So maybe he's like, maybe he called a few people that he's close with, I don't know, and said, hey, do you know anybody who'd be willing to do this? Alan Ungar came up, hey, Alan, it's easy to meet because we're both in Canada, whatever. Just get it. And then, they probably set it up. And it probably was super easy to set up.
Yeah.
Because you see how the connections, it's a little spider web. And you see I'd love to see what the views are by the end of today.
Million.
And it's Monday.
Million plus.
So, in my opinion, if it's not official test footage, which it may not be, it's essentially
It's a test.
It's essentially test footage.
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's either official test footage that they purposely put out to show the executives, like I said, like these are what people were looking for.
Yeah.
Not so much. I don't think they keep those actors except for the affiliate. But it's kind of like here's this is the people are really excited about, and here's why they want, or here's why Nathan Fillion would be a good choice for an older Nathan Drake. So they get to either do official test footage and show it and show the numbers, live numbers, or they do what I said where they contact Nathan. Nathan, Jesus. Wait, Nathan Fillion, Nathan Drake. Holy crap. So you contact Nathan.
Doesn't matter
what. You have him do it. It doesn't matter. You can contact you can call Nathan Drake's cell phone from the video game. That, or they did the call and Nathan set it up, and they made this footage to be test footage.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's test footage
For sure.
of some kind.
That's exciting.
It was pretty. When you told me about it, I wasn't really expecting.
I didn't expect that
much. Like I was kind of expecting from his post on Friday, I was kind of just expecting like some sort of announcement.
I was gonna say
I thought it was gonna be the first poster.
Yeah. I didn't think
Uncharted.
he'd literally. I said, but how can he be Nathan Drake? I didn't think they were gonna do a short film.
Yeah.
With him as Nathan
Weird.
Drake. I didn't think that.
And the fact that they said fan film, it's like that would be like how we you might know how. Like we're planning if we make enough money in time. The movie for Tyler's Kitchen might even be 2021. We have to make enough money.
Yeah.
But like when we make a film, it would be considered a fan film, or it would be considered not a fan film. It would just be considered a short film.
Yeah.
But we would attempt to make it as nice as this, but I don't know if it would. We'd be broke after the effects, but that's fine. But you don't just. But the thing is, what I just said. We need money before we do that. You don't produce that as a fan. I mean, just look up fan films on YouTube, and they like take place in one room or like in a park, and it's like horrible looking outfit, and it's like that's not a fan film.
Most times, fan films like this, you said Deadpool. The first thing I thought of was the Power Rangers one with very like Claire Danes, right?
Yeah.
She's very big.
Pink Ranger.
Yep. So they made a real Power Rangers short film, which Power Rangers the movie came out shortly after, and that was more gritty, different kind of one. And even there's like that classic. There was like a horror movie that came out 2 or 3 years ago. That was a short film that was like 2 or 3 minutes, and that ended up being the inspiration for Lights Out, the one where like when the lights are out, that's when like the monster would come and then it would turn. It came out like last year, same time as Don't Breathe, that one where they go into the guy's house is blind. There was a horror indie film fan made on YouTube, and that's where this movie got its inspiration from. So a lot of these times, these movies end up like they lead to something. And this one, you don't get Nathan Fillion, big name, huge name,
real people, real actors.
You don't get that for absolutely nothing. So we're going to talk about this more in the coming days. So we can even react to it or review the actual thing. And like Tyler said, Nathan Fillion's the person that would stay. Everyone else could probably change. So we could talk about that too. What would an Uncharted movie look like if we had Nathan Fillion and we build it? Because we built it from other people. We kind of went based on, I based it on age. I try to keep everybody young.
Yeah.
We could definitely do that in the coming weeks and months on the different shows we do. So let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think about this Uncharted trailer? Is it test footage or is it not? Let us know. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. We will see you guys on the next video.